Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3.
One more time.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Let's call the meeting to order. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Roll call.
Ms. Bradley?
Yes.
Mr. Rice?
Here.
Mr. Scott?
Here.
Colonel Taylor? Here. Ms. Clodfelter?
Here.
Ms. Nywer?
Here. All righty. I believe we have some special guests this
Yes,
evening.
we have a group here to give our school an award, so.
Let me make some quick comments.
Yes.
And
Explain what you're doing.
yes, it's an honor for us to be here. So, while some schools still have their doors closed during the pandemic, LPS made a bold decision to offer traditional, virtual, and blending formats, allowing students and parents to choose the option that best fit their needs and their level of comfort. They did not make this decision arbitrarily, rather they did it with extensive input from parents and their community. LPS recognized early on that it was making a decision that had a profound impact on student learning and safety, as well as professional and financial implications for parents. And it did the right thing, which was to invite parents and students to the table, listen to their input, and ultimately work to create a system that gave families more and better options. Many of us who have heard from parents across the state who feel helpless and trapped because of the decisions their schools are making that they are not a part of. But in Lawton, we have heard what a godsend it was to have a district and an administration that listened to parents, that responded to the concerns, and that gave them choices. Ultimately, we believe these choices will lead to more success and more student excellence. Lawton Public Schools, congratulations on being named Traditional Public School of the Year, and thank you for the work that you have done to respond to parents and family needs. Congratulations.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work.
Yeah, Kevin, say a few words.
Oh, well, the one thing I would like to say is when I came in new as a superintendent, this flexibility and choices we offered, two things. One, our teachers and staff made this happen. We have virtual,
Look at this guy.
oh, he wants us to get a picture first, okay. And then with our teachers and staff created a flexibility. Our principals, from our cafeterias to bus drivers, and so this is a shout out to them for the flexibility that they've allowed. The second thing I would like to say for the Board of Education, I had been a superintendent overnight, and we throw this at them, and they accepted it. And that for them to trust me and the leadership team that quick is a shout out to them as well. So there were a lot of people involved. So I want to thank all the people around that made this happen. I just happened to be that fly on the wall that gets to be called the leader. But great job, board. Second, this award is for our teachers and staff that are the ones that are flexible. They're the ones giving our parents flexibility and our kids choices. So thank you.
I want to make one more quick comment before I leave. All throughout this, I've seen Superintendent Heim be super humble about all of this. But I think it's worth mentioning that this all wouldn't be possible without the leadership of the superintendent, of the board, of all the administration as well, and of course all the wonderful work that the teachers did. But I really want to make sure that credit is given where credit's due. So thank you guys for your leadership.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're moving on to the
Architect.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Architect and construction manager. We have those reports in. They're not here, and I think there was a little bit of miscommunication because we didn't have them come. But Dr. James and Jack and myself were ongoing communicating with them. Some of the questions you guys have had, some of the discoloration and things, they're going to do an acid wash and clean that up. They're aware of the punch list issues and some of those. Continue to roll those in through Dr. James and Jack's office, and we'll get them back if we need them back at the next meeting. And so we'll continue to question them and make sure they answer any questions you have, but share those as you go and any you hear.
Okay, your report, sir.
Okay, in my report, one thing I want to do is it's here. We talk about this. This is Patty's committee of the Jet Force. We also met with them. It's a strategic plan. It's something the district discussed whenever I was in the interview process. So I did provide a magazine they sent of the strategic plan we're looking at. It's probably a contract we'll bring forward that it's kind of a twofold. It'll run in with the jet force as far as what we're doing, and it'll kind of, in a sense, it'll take over a lot of things for the jet force and help make the two things work parallel together, because it'll create the goal areas basically the same, but it'll incorporate all the people that are part of the jet force into it. This strategic plan is about the whole community. It is not just a teacher or a board. I did one at my previous site. Dr. James did one at his previous site. I'm going to tell you, when I did mine, I stayed in the background. I answered questions only because I get to initiate my goals and dreams every day. We need to hear what our teachers, our parents, and our staff want, and that's what this will do. They'll go around and survey a lot of people, and then they'll use the OU researchers. It's through the OSSBA, but they use the K-20 Center and their researchers. So this is just kind of a heads up as we get closer onto it.
Jet Force, by the way, is an initiative by the chamber, and they want to look at education in the whole area and try to make it better. You know, what can we do to help? And so the Jet Force just happened to be starting this, so we got with them, and they're very excited that we're going to do this. You guys need to look it over and see. We haven't signed a contract yet, but
No.
because of COVID, it's going to be a little slow getting started, because a big part of this are public forums, meeting with community members and teachers and administrators and everybody. So as soon as we can, we'll be getting started on it.
Now, is there a cost to us on this?
Yes.
Yes, it's a cost, because they spend a lot of time. They will spend 10 days down
They'll
there.
probably spend 10 days in here with a staff of 3, plus then the
Interviewing
researchers and the
and-
K-20 spend a lot of time dissecting the data.
And
So
what
we'll
does
have-
it cost us?
They'll send us a contract. I haven't seen it. It's going to be in
Yeah.
the $50,000 range, which is
Yeah.
pretty cheap for a strategic. It sounds like it's high, but for a strategic plan, it's a.
Well, and what's wonderful, what I like about it is it's 5-year, it's something that they will revisit every year. You know how often you'll do a
Right.
strategic plan and you put it on the shelf and
Sure.
nobody ever looks at it again?
Basically,
They're
what-
gonna force us to look at
Yeah.
it again and say, what do you wanna change, you know? So that, I think, is.
Yeah, after year 1, they're gonna request to get back on the board agenda. They're gonna request to come and then have us update it to you with them present and talk about what they're seeing,
Okay.
because it's meant, the way it's written and worded, if you read through it, it's different. It's not one of those where we finish it, we put it under the desk.
Right.
That was North Central we used to do that with some of the
Yeah, you
I'm
can
dating
read
myself
it.
as an educator. We'd spend days and weeks doing North Central, and when it's over, everybody say, "Phew."
It's a
Then
bite, never
and
talk
4 or
about
5
it.
years later, they'd send a letter saying, we're coming. Oh man, where'd we put that book?
That's exactly
And this is not that. This is
No.
something,
This is an ongoing
Yeah.
project,
so.
All
we're
righty.
And then, moving on to the, any questions on the, business or educational service documents? And then the curb appeal, we're moving on those projects. We got signs going up. MacArthur High School, I know that Liberty National Bank has talked about putting a sign at MacArthur High School for us, so we're in on that. Lincoln Pioneer Park has their sign. They should be starting any day on the fencing at Pioneer Park to get a new wrought iron fence on that south side of that, so to replace the old. We're doing a lot of replacing and repairing, and we're still working with the city to work through some of the codes and things so we can advance further on those. Superintendent's announcements. We'd like to recognize students, parents, faculty, and the staff at Ridgecrest for going above and beyond in raising money for the Public School Foundation
That's right.
Change Challenge. The Hawks totaled over $2,100. Way to go, Ridgecrest. That was a huge move for them.
I tell you.
And then, an out of this world recognition.
Recognition.
The mask, it's the mask caused me to be tongue tied, you know. Came to one of our Eisenhower Elementary students via retired astronaut Leland Melvin. Miss Loving's first grade class started their Black History unit, and a student decided to give his presentation on astronaut Melvin and draw a picture of him. When Miss Loving tweeted about it, astronaut Melvin saw it and gave a shout out to the student. Obviously, the entire class loved it. This is also National School Counseling Week. I think we have a counselor or two in this room. And also, as we know, today is the first day of Black History Month. And I was out there with Mr. Taylor, and we signed a proclamation to begin that, and all the city leaders, so we're excited about that as well. Any questions of me?
Can I mention that the Lawton Public School Foundation has their cookbooks for sale? And if you go to their website, Lawton Public School Foundation, website, you can order one, and it's all put together by several people all across the district, and it's a really neat deal.
I think I have a recipe in there.
I think.
So
you
everybody
do.
ought to buy
I
one.
think you do,
I
so.
have three, so.
Well, I know
I
I
ordered
now.
3, so, but we'd appreciate any support. They couldn't do their breakfast this year, they couldn't do their big dinner, so this is their
It'll be
fundraiser.
nice.
All right. Oh, you ready for 7?
Yes, number
Okay,
7.
you're done. Okay, number 7, those are applications, and we break that out so that I can abstain. Do I have a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Call the roll.
Ms. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Rice,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Clodfelter,
Yes.
Ms. Nyworth,
Abstain. I remembered. All right. Anything to remove from the consent agenda for anyone? Okay, do I have a motion?
Consent agenda.
Mark, okay, second, somebody?
Second.
Mary, second. Call the roll.
Ms. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Rice,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Clodfelter,
Yes.
Ms. Nyworth.
Yes. Well, it just jumped, so hang on a minute.
We do need an
Yeah, we need an
executive
executive session, I know that. I'm trying to get down there and it keeps going back up every time. Okay, I finally got it to wait. All right, we do need an executive session. Is there a motion to move to executive session?
I'll make a motion when we go to, adjourn to executive session.
There we go.
Second.
Okay, call the roll.
Ms. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Rice,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Clodfelter,
Yes.
Ms. Nyworth.
Yes. You wanna go in the little room or stay here?
Let's just stay here because
We're gonna From executive session, and these are the minutes. The Board of Education went into executive session at 5:12 p.m. Members present: Patty Nyworth, President; Mark Scott, Mary Bradley, Zeldin Rice, Carla Clodfeller. Others present were Kevin Heim, our Superintendent. Items discussed included the employing, promoting, or receiving resignations of individuals certified and support salaried personnel listed on the personnel report, and the resignation of Brenda Ballou. During the executive session, the board discussed these items and no other items, and no action was taken. The board returned to open session at 5:17 p.m. This constitutes the minutes of the executive session. All righty. Now, personnel report, sir.
Yep, need approval of the personnel report? Yep.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, call the roll.
Ms. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Rice,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Clodfelter,
Yes.
Ms. Nyworth,
Yes. 13B, sir.
I'd like to make the recommendation you vote to accept the resignation of Brenda Ballou and the approved settlement agreement.
Is there a motion?
Make a motion, we accept.
Second?
Second.
Okay, call the roll.
Ms. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Rice,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Clodfelter,
Yes.
Ms. Nyworth.
Yes. Any new business?
I have none.
You have no new business, just old business? Okay. Our next meeting is February 18th at 5 here at Shoemaker Center. Any board meeting dates we need to set?
No, ma'am.
Announcements, once again, I'll remind you about the cookbook at the Lawton Public School Foundation website. And tonight, if you're hungry, Central Middle School's having a fundraiser at Texas Roadhouse.
Ooh.
So, go eat. Anybody else got going? Okay, we are adjourned.
She loves that.